Welcome to Barbara's Bulletin. I'm your host, Barbara. Today we're focusing on a significant development in international diplomacy. As India and Pakistan engage in a war of words over the Kashmir region, we'll delve into the details, providing you with a comprehensive overview of the situation. In recent days, India has launched a diplomatic offensive, sending parliamentary delegations to various countries to build support for its stance on terrorism, and to counter what it sees as a false narrative presented by Pakistan. This move comes after a deadly attack in Kashmir last month, which India attributes to Pakistan-based militant groups. Pakistan, however, denies any involvement in the attack. India's External Affairs Minister, S. Jaishankar, has been at the forefront of this diplomatic effort, meeting with his counterparts in countries like Germany, the Netherlands, and Denmark. The message from India is clear. It will not tolerate terrorism and will take all necessary measures to protect its citizens. Meanwhile, Pakistan has also embarked on a diplomatic outreach, led by Chairman Bilawal Bhutto Zardari of the Pakistan People's Party. Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif has visited Turkey as part of a 5-day diplomatic tour, aiming to present Pakistan's case for its own security concerns and its position on the Kashmir dispute. It's essential to note that both countries have a long history of tensions over Kashmir, with each claiming sovereignty over the region. The international community is watching this situation closely, as it has significant implications for regional stability and global security. As we continue to follow this story, we'll provide you with updates and insights from experts and officials on both sides. We'll also examine the potential consequences of this diplomatic standoff and what it might mean for the future of India-Pakistan relations. We strive to bring you balanced and unbiased reporting, giving you a deeper understanding of the complexities involved. Our goal is to inform and educate, rather than to take sides or promote any particular agenda. We'll be right back with more of today's top news on Barbara's Bulletin. Welcome back to Barbara's Bulletin. We're glad you're joining us again as we dive into our second story of the day. Today, we're taking a closer look at the complex diplomatic dance between the United Kingdom, Canada, and the United States, particularly in light of recent developments involving President Donald Trump and the British royal family. As you may be aware, President Trump has been known for his unconventional approach to international relations, and his interactions with other world leaders have often made headlines. Recently, British Prime Minister Keir Starmer extended an unprecedented second state visit to President Trump, an invitation that was signed by King Charles III and presented with much fanfare in the Oval Office. However, this gesture did not go unnoticed in Canada, where many felt that it sent the wrong signal, particularly given the sensitive issue of Canadian sovereignty. Prime Minister Mark Carney has been vocal about his concerns regarding President Trump's repeated threats to annex one of the 14 realms where King Charles III is head of state. In response to these developments, King Charles III has embarked on a visit to Canada, which some see as a subtle signal of support for the Canadian government. The monarch's role in such situations is always delicate, as they must navigate the fine line between showing solidarity with their prime ministers and avoiding any actions that could be perceived as political. It's worth noting that the British royal family has traditionally been a tool of soft power for the UK government, and their interactions with world leaders are often closely watched. While some have praised King Charles III's visit to Canada as a much-needed show of support, others have criticized it as an attempt to interfere in Canadian politics. As we consider this complex situation, it's essential to remember that the relationships between nations are multifaceted and influenced by a wide range of factors. As we strive to understand the nuances of international diplomacy, it's crucial to approach these issues with empathy and an open mind. In conclusion, the visit of King Charles III to Canada serves as a reminder of the intricate web of diplomatic relationships that exist between nations. As we continue to navigate this complex landscape, we must prioritize fairness, balance, and understanding in our analysis. Stay tuned for our final story of the day, right here on Barbara's Bulletin. Good afternoon and welcome back to Barbara's Bulletin. As we wrap up today's show, I'd like to shift our focus to some pressing international news that has been making headlines lately. We have two significant stories to discuss, both of which involve the European Union and its policies on deforestation and trade agreements. Firstly, let's look at the EU's efforts to combat deforestation. A document recently obtained by Reuters reveals that 11 countries, including Austria, Luxembourg, and Italy, are urging the European Commission to weaken its upcoming law aimed at restricting deforestation. The proposed law, which is set to take effect in December 2025, would require companies to provide due diligence statements proving that their products, such as soy, beef, and palm oil, do not contribute to deforestation. While the EU's intention to address deforestation is commendable, it's essential to consider the potential impact on farmers, foresters, and industries in various countries. The 11 countries demanding changes argue that the requirements imposed by the regulation are too stringent and could be detrimental to their economies. On the other hand, environmentalists and advocacy groups might view any weakening of the law as a step backward in the fight against deforestation. In a related development, we have another story involving the EU's trade agreements. A group called EU Staff for Peace has written to the presidents of the European Commission, European Council, and European Parliament, expressing concerns about the EU's response to the conflict in Gaza. The group welcomes the recent announcement of a review of the EU-Israel Association Agreement, but feels that it is devastatingly late for thousands of people who have been affected by the conflict. The EU Staff for Peace has also criticized the apparent double standard in the EU's approach, citing the fact that some European leaders have discussed hosting Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who is wanted for alleged war crimes by the International Criminal Court. This raises important questions about the EU's commitment to upholding human rights and international law. As we conclude today's Barbara's Bulletin, I want to emphasize the importance of considering multiple perspectives on these complex issues. It's crucial to strike a balance between economic interests, environmental concerns, and human rights. We must continue to engage in informed discussions and stay vigilant about the developments that shape our world. That's all for today's Barbara's Bulletin. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, stay engaged.